I don't know. Whatever. But I am so happy to be here with all of you today. Why? Because it is well, first of all, happy spring, everyone. Happy equinox. I understand that there was indeed perhaps a full moon or something of that nature. Perhaps a couple of days ago, perhaps a week or two ago, about a week ago. A blood moon. Yes, I will perhaps talk a little bit about that for the moment. But first thing I just want to say, I'm so happy to see all of you here again. I want to also reiterate and welcome all my ladies, my gentlemen, my mages, my wizards, my winners, my losers, my witches, my frogs. Hi Tim. My spirits of all kind. I would also like to welcome anyone out there that is something I don't even know about yet. Hybrids, whatever, werewolves, vampires, whatever you want to call yourselves. But of course, my rats, welcome to the recording, welcome to the video. I'm so happy to have all of you here today. Why? Because we're going to go into certain subjects. I don't want to sort of focus entirely on one thing specifically, but I feel as though it is important for me to distinguish the fact that, while there is a lot of things that I know, there is a lot of things that I do not know. And the things I do not know, I try to delve into in a sort of theoretical, analytical approach or manner to better, show that I am indeed doing research, that I indeed am interested in what is going to happen. So, actually, hold on, let me adjust this. That's better. So, what I want to do is, first of all, I want to say, hi, how are you? The weather is insane. Hay fever is a bit of a muck in the area where I am. A lot of tree everywhere. I'm literally drowning in tree cum. That's when you think about it. It's what it kind of is. And I'm allergic to it, unfortunately, Yeah, well, too bad. Someone tell the Sylvans I'm not available for next Friday. I can't do it. I'm allergic. But yes, there's that. And the school thing is going underway rather well. We have a couple of programs that are going in. The summer program is it's a bit more relaxed. No one likes to be at school studying during the summer. We understand that, and we are addressing the issues right now. Are there skulls from time to time? Yes, there are, and we are taking disciplinary measures. Nothing too extreme, I assure you, but there will be blood. there will be something. Someone has to learn something. You can't be too soft on these kids, whether they're hybrids or not. You simply can't be. It's ridiculous. Or else they walk all over you. It's proven and it's real. And I am telling you this, and I am a very truthful and honest person. So, yes, so we are dealing with those sort of issues. But other than that, the program is going swimmingly. We have some new teachers that are rolling in. They are, of course, being screened because they have to be for the protection of the students and for the faculty as well. There are some people that still do not approve of the fact that we have hybrids within the school, so the mages. And we're trying to explain to them, look, these are people as well, though they look different. Our main focus is to educate first, to protect, to prepare for the world that they have to live in. So by denying them these sort of privileges, these sort of rights, these sort of conditions, because they are technically sort of conditions under the whole scope of the pretext of the school itself, you sort of risk having someone out there with powers that they don't understand properly running amok, and we can't do that. So that is why we have our school in place. That is why we have our programs in place. That is why we have disciplinary measures. Everything we are thinking about in order to prevent sort of catastrophes and disasters from happening in the past. I'll probably get into this a little bit in the video. Well, yeah, it's a smidge, because I can't remember if I spoke about it before, at least not in great detail. A lot of things happen. Were there issues? Yes. For example, when the blood moon happened, there was an orgy at the school. You don't do that at the school, you morons. Some teachers were involved. I'm like, no, we're not doing this here. We're not doing this here. If you want to go out and get your noodle wet, you have to go to the Italian restaurant down the street. You can't be in here doing that. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. I was like, look, guys, technically you are allowed to, because it's a big thing. It's a big ruckus, a celebration we do here back home in Antisha. However, that is something you do not do on school grounds, students and faculty. Yes, it was between people that were of age. So technically it's allowed. We don't have this so stringent thing. All we ask that they conduct the matters in a, in it. What's ethical approach is what I'm looking at. You know, you don't want to see just, you know, just doing whatever the hell they want. It's absolutely ridiculous. I thought they'd know better, especially the students, but apparently they didn't have anywhere else to go. School's the only place where they feel accepted, so they did it in a place that wasn't directly a classroom, but you know, still, it was. Oh my god, this. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into it. I walked in on it, you know. I took pictures, but I school memories, you know. Oh my god, that's going in the yearbook. Oh my god, so nasty. Well, whatever. But that's a whole thing. You know, so afterwards, yes, that thing was there. We were having schedules during, not schedules, I'm sorry. We were having festivals during that time. A lot of good meat, you know, things like that, you know. I actually had some elf friends come into town, and they were happy to see everything, and a few of them participated in the local cuisine. Oh, they did. If I was like, whatever, go ahead, you know, as long as there's no, you know, issues. Everyone's screened, you know, things like, you know, STDs like you have here is even a problem in my world, but you do get, you know, germs, or you do get, you know, some sort of minor illnesses that go away after a few days. It's the risk you run for running with, you know, the bulls. Oh my god. But anyway, there was that here. Some witches were celebrating it and this whole thing. I understand also well that there was the festival, the holiday known as Beltane. I will probably go into that perhaps in a later video. I myself am not a native to this land, so we have different festivals, but I appreciate what they are doing. They are putting the festival out there. The witches like to participate in these sort of events, and they like to do these things to, you know, help increase their things together, you know, bring forth the blessings of whatever it is they're doing. And I'm in full support, you know. Like I said, there has to be more, you know, mainstream support to these certain practices, as long as it's not something super dark or twisted. And even though it's a gray area because it's a person's practice, but you have to understand where you are, what's being done, and the history of whatever you're doing, which people don't really look into, but, you know, that's unavoidable, unfortunately. Yes. So, there's those few things going on or whatever. Other than that, everything is going swimmingly. Like I said, you know, I don't like to talk about politics on this channel very much. Like I said, on this channel, for those of you who are visiting for the first time, hello and welcome. This is a channel where we talk about the theoretical practices and applications of magic elements and their components. I attack things, you know, lack of a better word, and in a theoretical and analytical manner. And I try to make sure that I am fair and that I am being as logical, that I am being as, you know, as considering as, you know, I possibly can be when I'm speaking about these subjects. Some of these things I do practice, some things I do not. But I try to, you know, make that aware that I am trying to do my research, trying to get proper studies done so I can better defend or, you know, attack these certain issues that I may have a problem with or that I may support. So there's those things out of the way. So, without further more delay, before I get into the main subject, I want to do a brief repass of what I spoke about last time. So I believe the other time when I spoke, I was speaking about portals and how they are used and how you can create portals unknowingly within your home or within, you know, whichever place you practice, which is what you don't want. Things like negative emotions, speaking, you know, even using certain appliances or devices, things like, you know, and I don't want to sound old-fashioned or anything like that, things like TVs or phones or anything else, even things like radio. You have to understand that when you are opening up a line of communication or perhaps telecommunication, or something visual, you are essentially welcoming a certain type of energy and frequency, even measurable by scientific standards, into your life for you to see in order to absorb information. What you have to understand is that when you're trying to receive information, whether it's audio, visual, or, you know, something a bit more spiritual in nature, when you're welcoming those sort of frequencies into your space, into your person, you have to understand that you're also welcoming everything else that comes with that. There's not always a proper screening or a filter to, you know, take out on the undesirables so that it doesn't contaminate your inner space, your safe space, or whatever you want to call it. So you have to keep in mind that these certain things that you do without even knowing can sort of cause these sort of things to enter into your life and, you know, essentially run amok or, you know, cause a ruckus within your home. You have to be mindful of what sort of symbols you're using, what you're using it for, you know. You have to be aware of, you know, certain things you're listening to, even certain attitudes you take, even what you are saying, what you are speaking. Intention is, 9/10 of it, but there's a whole tenth that incorporates so many other things. There are many things that we do by accident that we did not mean to do, and they've had catastrophic effects. The same exact thing can apply in your magecraft, whatever you're doing. So you have to be aware of that. Whenever you are speaking ill of anything or anyone, make sure that you apply the proper words, the proper glyphs, sigils, or whatever you have, in your repertoire that allow you to sort of filter out these energies. Especially if you need to vent or need to speak to someone else, you have to prepare the space for these certain things to happen. Because some people, they like and prefer an open air type of setup. The energies go in and out, but you have to understand that, when you welcome in all kinds of energies, even unbeknownst to you, these sort of things can happen and they can drastically and negatively affect your life or aspects of your life, which is what you want to be prepared for. So there's that with things like portals. The other issue, I will go into portals, and I believe the other thing which I do want to talk about, I'll probably go into a brief thing, depending on if I have time, would be about, portals used for transporting oneself, So portals are essentially a doorway. It's a way of you getting from one place to another. We essentially try to study the way things like receiving communication, things like scries work. And so we sort of amplify the spell's effects to incorporate larger objects. Like before, I think many videos ago, I spoke about things like transportation glyphs or whatever, which I believe I didn't really get into too much when I did the whole thing about glyphs or sigils. But it works in a similar manner. It works according to how it is prepared. And so depending on the number of circles and the symbols and things that you use within the glyph or whatever, can help determine how strong it is and how appropriate it is for whatever you're transporting. When it comes to things like transporting people, and you can just simply use components. There are several ways to do this, to transport yourselves or whatever in my realm. However, you need to make sure you have the right components. Things like materials, things like where you are. If you're using things like glyphs or sigils as markers to help transport you, or teleport technically. I'm not really sure the whole, whatever. You're sort of using these things. So wherever you have these items or these sort of, symbols, just, just to simplify it, in certain areas, you would actually enable yourself to be able to teleport or to transport to those places that you have marked. So you're not teleporting anywhere, by accident, unless if you want to, but you have to sort of, encant those words into the spell or whatever. So when it comes to things like teleporting and through portals, you have to make sure that the pathways are open, that you have nothing standing in the way, that you have a clear line of sight to these portals, and that you are distinguishing with the fact that you are traveling through space itself, or if you're transporting yourself through air, through water, through earth, even through fire. All of these things you have to, specify, and you have to understand forthwith. Now, there is I don't want to say a theory, there's a practice that is saying that in order for you to transport to a certain place, you have to have been there at least one time before and get a general layout of the area. That is why it's important for you to travel. A lot of mages do this to certain places that they like to go to. And you sort of have little markings on it. That's why if you were to go to certain places like parks, for example, markings all over the bloody place. You see them all over the trees, all over the ground, everywhere. However, they are marked with their, caster's symbol or, their mark or whatever it is. And it allows them to be able to transport there. Now, the sigils that they use for those transportation markers, they have to be a certain distance from another one, and in order to allow the proper space to transport two people at max when you're trying to teleport slowly. A simple sigil, something basic, can teleport at most two people, nothing more than that. Or you're gonna have splicing issues. You don't want that. Okay, so you have to be aware that when you're trying to teleport through or create portals or things of that nature, they all function on a similar manner. That's why sometimes you will see symbols on there. Sometimes the symbols on a portal, on a doorway, for example, an archway. The most ancient but, very effective method of portals and transporting, you would have the symbols there, and they would indicate the things that were used for it. Sometimes it's incantations you have to speak out. Other times they are directions or coordinates as to where the teleportation thing is going to bring you. Sometimes they're just blank and empty. Other times they appear that way, but they are simply disguised for aesthetic purposes or to disguise, the things of the person so other people don't really know where they're going. because the person that initially inscribed it or understands the writing can get there a lot sooner, more efficiently, and there isn't a danger of them being teleported somewhere else that could potentially be hazardous. So you have to keep those things in mind when it comes to things like portals. You can use anything as a portal, like a port key, for example, in Harry Potter. It's an object you touch that essentially acts as a portal and then enables you to sort of apparate and then, end up somewhere else. So objects can be used for that purpose. Yes, they have to be enchanted. There's a certain ritual you have to do in order to make the object that, but you understand that once you do that, you can only essentially do it once to the object. If you destroy the object or perhaps change its form or anything of that nature, it can cancel out the port key as well. So the object can then be, nullified in terms of its effects, and then have to worry about it, needlessly teleporting you anywhere. However, we've done a more safety thing on it, not that you just touching it. You have to sort of, once you touch it, you have to incant certain words or speak the place that you want to go. If there's a marker there or another port key there, you will be teleported to that area. As simple as that. Okay. So, oh my God. I need a break. I need a break. Honestly, I've been doing this for a long time, and it is what it is. But I will simply go into the other manner. I should have used that for that one video. I feel so stupid. Oh my God. But anyways, I will go into the next thing here. Okay. Just a quick repass. I think a good 10 minutes or so should suffice as a somewhat of an introduction to what I'm going to be talking about. And I believe I spoke about it before. But I believe, it is important to talk about these certain things and their effects. Now, I spoke to you about glyphs last time, sigils last time. Elements I was going to go into. The similarities between elements, how they can be used and things of the nature. I can remember as well. If I spoke about it beforehand, I will certainly have to, do a deep dive and review my notes and my lectures, unfortunately. But, well, I guess I can just go into it then. Oh my God. Well, okay. The next thing I'm going to be talking about then is going to be summoning. Summoning. So summoning and things like portals can go hand in hand. The two have been used interchangeably to enable certain things, figures, or spirits specifically to be put through. Now, summoning, it takes a really bad rap, and I may or may not have spoken about this before, but if I did, hence why it's only going to be about 10 minutes. Hello, Daddy. It's going to be about 10 minutes. I prefer longer. I will go into it in a brief moment. So summoning. Do I have a proper definition, actually? Let me see, hold on. I believe I do. Let me see here. My God. Common, rare, the risks of summoning, and of course the forbidden. Oh my God. I think I'm going to do a whole video for this, but I'll do a brief introduction, and then we'll go ham in the other one. Or pork, or turkey, whatever. Or vegetable. I don't get on me, okay? Just relax. I'm trying to tell you the differences and the aspects of summoning or whatever it is. So, summoning, as some of you may not understand, is a way of calling something. You're calling forth energies, okay? Sometimes the energies physically manifest into a being or perhaps an object. What you have to understand about summoning is that summoning requires you to put something of yourself, of your person, into whatever it is in order for something else to come through. In that way, you can also think about it as a type of ritual, because it is, and a contract, okay? In the most abstract sense of the word, it's a contract. But when you're speaking about summonings or things of that nature, and even things like portals, you're essentially calling forth something to traverse a plane, or perhaps to traverse a certain amount of land, or space itself to enter into your space. So when you use things like transportation glyphs of that nature, they technically also count as summoning circles or sigils, okay? You would do those things to bring something forth. However, you are sort of summoning yourself into an area, but it doesn't really work out. Proper summoning is between two individuals. It has to be across, traditionally, two planes of existence, or believes two huge miles of space or things of that nature. Other than that, though, you would just use transportation glyphs. But in regards to summoning, it mostly refers to the, transportation of spiritual forces, carnal forces, or even elemental, components or origin materials through different types of planes spaces, and even time. Okay. When you're doing a summoning, you have to essentially have a special area that is large enough for what you are summoning into. And you have to have the proper sigils, the proper things put in place when you're doing these sort of things. When you do summoning, they're essentially rituals and they acquire components, believe it or not. You require the right type of materials and resources you need. And you have to also make sure that you have the right and proper amount of energy when performing a summoning. You don't want to be weak after the summoning is done, because in case whatever you're summoning, for example, isn't of the most thoughtful or considerate type, you don't want to risk possession, okay? And you don't want to risk getting hurt or eaten or killed or mangled or raped. Okay, you have to make sure you have the proper amount of energy. You have to make sure you have the proper amount of protection and wards down. I have to emphasize this. When you are summoning, make sure you understand what you are summoning it for, and the risks that come with summoning whatever it is you are trying to summon. If you are summoning something out of ignorance, then you can honestly just welcome any sort of risk into your life, okay? You have to understand this. When you have to put wards down specifically. If you can put them on your body, even the better, because it's a lot better, okay? Sometimes people don't put wards in the right areas, or the wards don't blend well with the sigil used for the summoning. There's sort of a clash there. The energies can't collide and they can't blend together, okay? You have to understand that when you are summoning something, you can put restrictions on the summoning, but it will also restrict and limit whatever it is you're trying to summon, which is the reason why most people, practitioners or mage workers, almost use nothing when it comes to summoning, but they have the foresight to understand what it is they are doing, and they are strong enough to handle the situation. They have the energy required for the summoning, for safe summoning, and they also put wards on their own bodies, or they wear amulets, things of this nature. Okay, they wear things like this to protect themselves from the certain energies they're welcoming into their plane of existence. The deed of summoning is something that is highly looked at, and that is highly scrutinized, and that is reviewed, and it is looked, and it is what's the proper word? Supervised, regulated. It is something that is heavily regulated in my realm, because many people and mages in the past decided to summon beings from other planes to give them edges in battle or in political standing. It has run amok, it has caused wars in the past, so it is something that is nearly forbidden, but it is not, okay? Because we have to allow certain things to happen. Transportation glyphs, for example, are summoning circles you're using. Do all summoning circles have to be circles themselves? No. But circle is a balanced shape, okay? And I don't want to get into it as well, but you can do ones with squares and even triangles. They're a bit more elaborate, but they provide stability and they provide form and function to whatever you're summoning. Sometimes the shape also can affect whatever it is you're trying to summon into the realm that you live in. So you have to understand that specifically, okay? I cannot urge this or stress this enough. When you're going to do this, especially if you're a student, I don't care where you are, how experienced you think you are, you have to make sure you have at least one other person present with you in case it goes awry. Teacher or student, preferably a student that is well-mannered and that has the blessing and understanding of the other teachers there. Other than that, seek help and seek it from a teacher. Tell the teacher why you are summoning, the reasons. You have to make that upfront, okay? Whenever you're summoning something, instead just do it in secret, because emotions can change in the blink of an eye, your attention can change, even your mindset can change. Okay, only experienced mages that have brilliant focus, like myself, that understand the risks, can summon something with almost no supervision and without the need for wards, okay? Because we understand and we make sure to have reserve energy for whatever we're summoning. And we know exactly what we are summoning, okay? There are some people that summon things and they summon something else entirely, okay? This is exactly why I said in an earlier video to test the spirits. If you're summoning spiritual beings into this world physically, you have to understand the risk that's going to happen. Sometimes they'll go insane. Other times they'll try to seek an object to reside in if they can't reside within your realm in a spiritual body. They need a corporeal form. And since you have one, since you're the closest access to them, they're going to try and possess you. That's why you have to be aware. Can you bring a body or whatever? You can, but the spirit has the wherewithal and it has the, the right to choose whatever it can at its disposal. People don't know this. Spirits not all spirits can freely travel through the planes and could travel within one plane of existence, especially when it's not native to the spirit world, okay? There are forces at work. There are laws in place. There are other spirits out there that could potentially cause harm or seek to devour other spirits. Spirits do not die, but their energies and their essences can be absorbed into another, which gives them more strength, which can essentially trap the spirit that was within it. But spirits don't die. They can simply rematerialize. Their essences or their energies persist. So when you are doing things like summoning, make sure you're taking the right steps and the right precautions, okay? Know the components, know the rules, know the requirements. Understand you have to go there with another person because you can't just do anything you want without supervision, okay? Even some teachers have to have supervision. Why? Because teachers are engaging in more advanced forms of summoning. Because it's a type of class and a type of study that is required for teachers to undertake. And it is something that is, it shows the mark of a great teacher. Summonings by nature take time to do. So you can't just do it in a battlefield, for example, or during a sparring match, okay? It is incredibly difficult to do it on your own. You have to do it in a way where the other opponent isn't aware of what you are doing. You have to understand where you place the markers or the sigils or the lines. That is why you need to have another person there. You can have one person drawing it out or performing the ritual while you're backing them up. That is another reason why you need to have more than one summoning. Okay? It is important. There have been many mages whose lives were lost because they didn't take the proper precautions when it comes to things like summoning. In your realm, summoning is possible. Summoning something in physical form is technically possible, but you have to have the right components, okay? Other than that, though, it's incredibly difficult to do it in your realm. I've tried it many times, and I can only summon a few things. And even then, it's not even that impressive. But like I said, the laws that govern your world are put in place so that these sort of things don't happen. Whoever put the laws in there could either be a god of some type, a spirit, or perhaps something that the earth itself, because it is alive, decided they have to put in place in order to avoid it from collapsing or going into a wreck or whatever it is. Needless to say, a portal can indeed be open even from the other side into your realm if you're not prepared. That is why you need to have mages that are strong, that are attentive, that understand these certain things, so they can act as bulwarks or they can act as sentries into the realm. And you do have some, believe it or not. I myself am technically one, though I do a more, teaching, I approach things from a teaching manner because I am a professor at a university, at the college of, the thing that I'm doing. And so I can't really always be, disposable, like I said, but I have a substitute that is rather good. So you have people like me or other people, for example, that sort of understand these things and the risks and that are always attentive. Whenever there's spiritual forces or things happening in your realm, we have to be attentive. That's just what we are. You can call us guardians or whatever, but there's a lot of us out there. And sometimes some of us, our positions are transferred or, or rotated, Other than that, you can get blown out or, you get tired of doing it for as long as we've been doing it. But you have one, believe it or not. And if it's not a mage, it is a creature of a certain type. Some people can call it a jinn, an angel, a demon. It could be maybe a demigod of some kind, whatever you want to call it. Even an animal or a mythological creature that is very powerful and potent, that acts as a guardian, or I believe as a sentry to the, it's like having bodyguards stationed outside of a club or something like that. They are filtering in the energies, spirits that are coming in. These people work in a similar nature. So when it comes to things like summoning or even things like portals, you have to understand that you need to have the proper precautions, in place, and that you understand what is needed for these certain things. Transportation, even things like portals, are minor types of summoning. You're essentially passing one thing through a plane of existence, even if it's not two separate ones or whatever, into another place within your plane of existence. So technically speaking, portals act as summoning, whatever they are, summoning squares, circles, or whatever it is. Technically, if you want to be technical. But they're simply doorways, passages, or portals that allow things to transfer through. Okay, so when you're doing things like summoning, be very aware. As far as the levels of summoning, the things that are rare, the things that are allowed, I will probably discuss that in the next video. So until then, I urge all of you to make sure that you are practicing these things in safety, whether it is sex or magic. That you understand that on this channel, I care for you. Pahalo cares for you. The other spirits that are around me also care for you as well. The ones that seek knowledge, that seek wisdom, that seek compassion. Welcome to the channel. But we also love joking here and understand that this is a channel for people that are seasoned in mind and in age. I don't recommend this for little kids, for example, but if you're at least 18 or 16, whatever you are, as long as you're old enough to understand things like sarcasm or whatever, and it's not what, we don't really go super vulgar, super gross. It's just some jokes in and out there. I don't really go into a crazy thing or whatever. So it's not really a big issue. But I'm just letting you know that this is something that, kids can wear. However, there are certain episodes of believe a kid could see potentially that isn't vulgar at all, But like I said, to be safe, I have to make this channel for, people that are, of an older type, But like I said, we are here. If you have questions, concerns, or perhaps any inquiries, or perhaps you just want to shout something out, feel free to put it into the comments. I am always attentive, always watching. And I'm curious to see what sort of questions you perhaps have for me, or perhaps the theoretical practice of things like magic, or even things like the mundane, because I do engage in those sort of things from time to time. I urge all of you, even for those of my students out there, I urge all of you to make sure you're taking these notes. They help for class. I want to make sure that you are prepared for what we're going to talk about, whatever it is, that you understand that, I myself as a teacher, but also as a fellow mage, am here for you in support. Feel free to come to me even for counseling, because I have a thing for that as well. But other than that, I urge all of you to go seek the proper counselors if you have issues, okay? If you have a dispute with a student, I want you to come to me directly with the student in mind. I will try to establish a particular type of meeting for us to sort of get these things out of the way. If disciplinary actions are needed, I will take them, okay? I don't want any false accusations or any false things between other students. I am tired of the bullshit. April Fool's is over, okay? I don't want any more of this. Honestly, if you're going to bullshit, please be extremely convincing. If not, I'm going to write you up, okay? This is a no funny business. And yes, I like jokes. What is with my hair? I have not. No. But like I said, you have to be aware that, these sort of things do happen, and it's a pain in the ass, whenever you're trying to figure these sort of things out, okay? Please do me the favor. Make sure if you're going to come to me for anything, make sure you understand what the hell you're coming to me for, and that you're putting it on paper, even for whatever it is. I will discern whether or not you're being honest, and then we can talk to the things and we can have a proper conversation with whatever, okay? I don't want any funny business. Guys, the school days are still long. The year is still going, okay? We are midway through the school year. I don't want to go through any funny business, okay? Other than that, I also want to announce that the festival is still ongoing. Those of you that were caught doing whatever were doing, we didn't notify your parents, but we did notify you. I believe all of you have received notices within your scribbles or whatever it is. Mostly warnings. Some of you, there were in some heinous shit. First of all, I'm appalled that you would do something. Second, I am impressed. So, but like I said, not on school grounds, okay? Don't do it again, okay? Can you rent some spaces for it? Yes, but we have to do these things in writing. Other than that, the parents are going to get all over our asses about it, okay? The ones that were involved, for the most part, were of age. There were some minors there that nobody bothered to look at, and that is what makes me so upset, okay? We're going through the screening of things. The teachers didn't know. We're not going to punish teachers for not knowing you were a fucking minor, okay? There should have been someone there checking for things. Like I said, it was a spur of the moment orgy. It happened. It's over. We're getting past it. We're walking through things. Yes, we are handling it. Parents, don't worry about it. We've already approached students and the parents of the minors, okay? For those of you that were of age, like I said, you are of age. It's really none of your parents' business, technically, for now. But anything else heinous, you best believe we will be calling your parents, okay? Your parents understand when they send you here that, look, you're going to be doing some heinous shit, having sex with other students, that is unavoidable. We can't do shit about it. You are of age. As long as you are, 18 or older, you're technically an adult. So we can't really do much about it. But like I said, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you much for being here. And remember that I care for you, and remember that you must summon in safety, okay? Goodbye!